That's what made me gay.
The gay epidemic. Old and alone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey guys. So we wanted to revisit this topic of being old and alone and aging in the gay population because, well, that last video got a lot of attention and it seems to have struck a chord within our community. Yep. So we want to continue this conversation. And to kick things off in this video, I want to share some information that's been recently published about the LGBTQ plus community in a Gallup poll, which I didn't really know what a Gallup poll is. What is it?
It's just like a testing polling company.
Like a global, it's like a global company that gathers information about random stuff.
For years.
And what this one poll showed is that the amount of people identifying as LGBTQ plus is on the rise.
Woohoo! Go gays.
When they last measured in 2017 of the people who identified as LGBTQ plus, it was 4.5%.
Wow.
Now in 2020, when they measured, it was 5.6%. So we've gained over 1% of LGBTQ plus identifiers.
In 3 years. 1% you might not think is a lot, but...
That's an extra 1 out of 100 people who is saying,
woohoo! Go gays.
So why do you think that there are more people identifying as LGBTQ plus?
Maybe it's something in the water. Chug, chug, chug.
Or maybe it's all the iced coffee.
I know what it is. It's all because of the phone. They're on their phone all the time.
I know why.
Okay.
Lady Gaga.
Oh,
yeah. So, coming from someone who has been around a long time and maybe has seen some trends, Brian, what do you think about this?
Me? Well, I mean, I kind of get it just because, I mean, when I was growing up, like 16, 17, you know, there weren't a lot of gay people around for me to, you know, either look up to or a role model for me. I mean, I had Paul Lynn, I had Charles Nelson Riley, you know, and they were fun and I loved seeing them, but it was like, that was it. And it was almost like they were a character. They were funny, but they were almost clownish. So it wasn't like
like a role model type of thing?
Well, it wasn't the role models that I think people have today, like either actors like Pete Buttigieg, like how great is that? You know, member of the cabinet, you know, a proud gay man, married, has his, what's his husband's name? It's a cool name. It's a really cool name. But like a great couple and it's a great role model for kids. So I think you're finding that it's not a bad thing to be gay now. And I shouldn't say that it was a bad thing like when I was growing up. It just wasn't really discussed or talked about. Yeah. And now it really is. So I feel it's easier and so much better for younger LGBTQ people to, and I hate using that cliche, live their true life, but they actually can, which is great.
What's a cultural thing? You mentioned like role models, and this is more recent, but like Gus Kenworthy and Adam Rippon, the Olympians that came out, like that was huge for me, like, because I felt like I wasn't fitting into the gay sort of like mold.
It may sound stupid. LGBTQ people, we look like everybody else.
Right.
But for some reason, some people have this view of what we're supposed to look like and who we're supposed to be, but you know, we're not. We're all different.
Even growing up, and obviously we grew up in different generations, like I felt like I had to fit this mold of what does a gay person look like, and I almost felt like I was not, I don't know, I guess that's probably one of the reasons why I questioned being gay, is like, okay, I don't look like some of these other people that I see that are coming out. And as we move forward, like cultural norms are shifting, it's more accepted, and the most insightful information that came from this survey is looking at how it breaks down by the generations. And we see that older people are less inclined to identify as LGBT or Q when you compare it to younger generations coming up, like the millennials.
I think, and I'll say for my generation, it wasn't like an easy thing to come out. I still don't think it's easy, but I think it's easier for, you know, your generation and younger to come out. I mean, there's kids that are open in high school, and it's just like, oh my God, if that had happened in my high school, you would have just been stuffed in a locker for the semester.
I think this reinforces the whole old and alone thing, because if less people are identifying this way in the older generations who, you know, Like,
I see what you're saying on it. It's not so much that I disagree, but it's like, I think the same norms apply to my generation, but depending on the thinking of that older person.
Right. It really depends on like the lived experience, like
right.
what their sort of
if
morals are, and they're ingrained, how they, experience themselves and how they fit in the culture. If that is so dislodged because of past experiences, they're still not gonna.
Right. I mean, if they've lived their life, and I don't even like to use the word, if they've lived their life in the closet,
yeah,
I get it. Where like now it might be a little harder for them to come out after all these years, but I can't say because I'm out. So
big news.
But like I said, it's out there now. It's like out. It's just mainstream. Like it's mainstream. It's. You have out actors, you have out politicians, you have out everybody. The athletic world is like the last world to really should embrace it. Because if you're telling me that every single athlete is straight, that's not happening.
No, definitely not.
So I mean, I looked at when we did the Gay World Series in Kansas City. I mean, there were hundreds of teams from every single state in this country. It was awesome. And I'm looking, and these athletes, and they are friggin' athletes. These guys, like the ones that were playing A and B division, it's amazing. So if you're telling me that only exists at the Gay World Series, I think you're sadly mistaken.
Yeah, definitely. I also got a comment from someone on the last video similar to this one about okay, you guys are talking about all these things, but what does it actually do? What does it are you guys making a difference, or are you just kind of opening wounds? I want to share a comment that I got from one of the subscribers, which really, really touched my heart. His name is Beryl, and I'll put it on the screen here. And it really shows that if you hear what we're saying and you kind of do what you can to go out and try to meet some people, it can work for you. This gentleman, he went out, he lives in a retirement home, and he went out and just started hanging out with some of the females in the retirement home, which I think is awesome. And he says he made friends and it's making an impact on his life, and despite some of the male straight people in the retirement home sort of looking at him in a very judgmental way, he says, you know what, I don't need to bother with that. I can go hang out with some of these women, which is awesome.
Right.
And I think that, if you're alone, that's, and you like it, totally fine. Do you. Absolutely do you. But if you want to do these things, obviously people are making a change and it's affecting their lives.
I found this great article, and I don't know if you guys know who Norma Kamali is. She is
gorgeous.
This amazing designer. She's just really fun and cool. 75 years old.
Hold on. What magazine is this, Brian?
I've been getting it since I've been in my 50s. So you don't need to know.
AARP.
And you get good discounts. So it was the 7 things Norma Kamali says to do now. But her 7th one, which I thought was great, and when I read it, I said, no, I'll definitely share this. It says, bide your time. I married and divorced young. For years, I thought romantic love was for other people. Then at 65, I met my soulmate, and we're now engaged.
Awesome.
I would not have been ready for this person earlier in my life. So if you're looking for a partner, be kind to yourself. Maybe like me, your schedule is different. So I mean, and that is what we should embrace. We're all different. Everyone's timing isn't the same.
This kind of ties again into some of the comments that we read where people are hopeless and they've tried dating and they're done, they're over it. But like Norma says, you may not have been ready back, 10 years ago, and now you are. And now you can have this relationship with someone, and it's all about getting out there.
Yep.
Safely.
Of course.
So now we're opening it up to you guys. What do you think?
Why do you think the LGBTQ community is growing?
And please comment down below, like, subscribe, and
we'll see you in the next one.
Pew.